Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I am in Quartzsite, Arizona, which is one of those really weird towns in the desert where people from mostly Canada, but also Americans come and live in a trailer during the winter time. It's a very odd place, but the good news is the gas is cheap. It's only $3.29 a gallon on the Arizona side, and it gets a lot more expensive, as Anita knows, on the California side. I think it was over $5 a gallon, which globally is not so expensive, but in the US it is. So it's really just about $2 a gallon more in California than it is. So I'm going to gas up here in a moment. Thank you for taking the time here on the last day of the really the last event for Global Chamber. Certainly not the last day of the year. There's a few more days, including Christmas. So there's going to be some fun, I'm sure, for all of you. It was great to hear before we got going about the Beatles. We'd love to hear from each of you, and perhaps your favorite Beatles song will be kind of maybe the theme for today, especially Colin, given your connections in Liverpool. Anita, would you like to kick us off? Anita Rodal is a longtime member of Global Chamber. She's a leader on the Global Chamber Los Angeles Advisory Board. I'll be in Los Angeles, I think, in, let's see, about 4 hours. And she also has been leading a program for us called Export Import Conversation. I think it might change its name in 2024. There's only been one, and it was phenomenal. 4 tremendous speakers, and next year there's going to be probably fewer speakers, but the topic is going to be the same, and that is success and innovation regarding exporting and importing and doing international trade. Anita also works and is an expert on foreign exchange. She also is tremendous with her helping people present themselves and market themselves in succinct ways. So Anita, thank you for all that you do. You're extraordinary. Could you kick us off today? It's basically, for those of you new, it's a speed networking, business networking. Let us know who you want to meet, and then give us some information about yourself and in about 4 minutes, and then also your favorite Beatles song or favorite Beatles story. Please go ahead, Anita. Great picture.
Okay, thanks. And if you can glance at your screen, Doug, that was the sky earlier this morning. So you're coming back to no rain for a while at least.
Oh,
You missed it.
oh, good.
It
Okay, it's
poured.
raining in Phoenix, but here on the desert, it hasn't been raining, but it's quite cloudy.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's coming back, but my God, we got a lot of rain. And thank you for that lead in. I'll basically be paraphrasing everything you said in my elevator pitch. But good morning, everyone. Anita Rodal, president of SVPI Services. I represent 2 of the world's largest non-bank foreign exchange companies. They save their import and transnational clients money and time when sending and receiving cross-border payments. I'm also a corporate trainer. My About Your Elevator Pitch webinars and workbook are for business professionals who do B2B networking, while my private pronunciation coaching is for foreigners looking to reduce their accents when speaking English. Um, so that's an example of a 30-second elevator pitch, by the way. Also, domestically, I do business loans. So I do SBA working capital loans. I do unsecured business loans. I do equipment leasing. So if people are stateside here in the US and they need quick financing, that's always available. Also, I do have a special going on, just so y'all know, for my corporate webinars for the About Your Elevator Pitch. Next Friday is the deadline for the special, because normally it's 149 a person for the webinars with a minimum of 5 people. If a corporation wants to do that for their sales team or their marketing team. And so I have an end of the year special where you can do up to 10 people for $895. So that makes it $89.50 a person, and it can be scheduled for January, but it needs to be paid for and like have the scheduling done by the 29th of the month. So that's that. Who I want to meet, and in the background, I'm working on my favorite Beatles song. I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to come up with one. I'll throw a name out at the end. But there is no such thing as a favorite Beatles song, right? Um, I am always looking to meet importers who are not making their payments in dollars. So US importers, um, and or even European importers, because I can open accounts for people in Europe. I can also open accounts for people in Canada. So anybody who is making foreign payments, cross-border payments, those are the people I'm looking for. Typically, a minimum volume of $250,000 a year. Doesn't have to be, in one fell swoop, but that's that. In terms of the um, pronunciation coaching, I say foreigners, that includes native English speakers whose English is a little bit different than American English, specifically California English, because people from India do get insulted, and rightly so, when I say not native English speaker, because they do grow up speaking English. But people have trouble understanding them because the syncopation is so different, even though their vowels are very much British. Um, and I work a lot with diplomats. I work with actors, and just typically business people who know that they get a lot more whats and can you repeat that than they would like in the course of conversation. So yeah, so that's who I'd love to meet. And then favorite Beatles song. I'm sorry, I just don't. The whole Rubber Soul album is my favorite album. So pick a song. Um, I've Just Seen a Face is one of my absolute favorites. But I love the whole album. So there you have it. Anita Rodal, SBPI Services.
Ah, that's funny. Very good. Any questions for Anita, please? Have you ever seen the Beatles, any of the Beatles in person?
No, I didn't. I saw a good cover band recently, like last year. Maybe it was this
Okay.
year. Um, but no, I didn't. No, because when they were like in their heyday touring, I was a little too young to go to concerts. I can't imagine my parents ever taking me to one, but back in the day. My sister, on the other hand, took her kids to like flogging Molly, like since they were like 10 years old. And like, wow, that was very, it was an interesting thing to do. But
Very
no, didn't get to see them. I did see the Kinks. I saw a lot of great bands, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, um, a lot of really good bands, but not the Beatles.
okay. Well, too bad. Definitely have Anita on your speed dial and your Rolodex. One of the things that we do after this session is, and certainly after I stop driving, I'll do this in LinkedIn, is make sure that you're all connected via LinkedIn. So we'll do a post and get you all connected that way. But feel free to connect with each other in the meantime and do that. I ended up, I think the only one that I've met is Paul McCartney. And so when we were moving to Japan, I met Paul and Linda McCartney at the Okura Hotel with my daughter. So I was really thrilled. My daughter was only 4 or 5 years old. She has no memory of it, but I very vividly remember it because then we went to the swim with them in the Okura Hotel pool. So that was all really a lot of fun. Would have loved to have seen actually, no, I did see Paul McCartney in the Detroit. That's right. Oh my God, yeah,
Wow.
McCartney Wings. Yeah, absolutely. So, but after the Beatles, I'll bet, Colin, you have seen some of the Beatles. And are you actually? Did you say you're from Liverpool?
Correct. I'm from Liverpool. I'm
Beautiful.
living in a town just outside of Liverpool right now. I'm there most times, a few times a week.
Amazing. That's fantastic. What would you like to share? Thank you for joining Global Chamber. You gave one of the best presentations I've seen on artificial intelligence and its application here at Global Chamber. And I know you know Connie Kadansky. You're an expert on sales and how that works, and hope to learn more from you through your membership and connect you to the right people. Who would you like to meet, and how can we help? And definitely give us your favorite Beatles song.
Like you, Anita, there are too many, aren't there, to pick a single one? I do have a few candidates, so I'll share that. So yeah, I'm Colin. I am an AI marketing coach, and I run a community of expert business owner entrepreneurs looking to leverage AI in the online space called Thrive and Serve. Little logo there in the corner. And essentially, my mission, my vision, my calling is helping other people to shine their light brighter in the world. So the Thrive and Serve community is about helping people to thrive in service of others, and that's really what I'm all about. I love, love, love AI as well as the Beatles, and I've lived in the AI space for the last 10 months, full on, like made a pivot. I was a marketing coach, I was a marketing lecturer, run a business that went bust. That's another story. And moved into AI 10 months ago. And literally, it's just been like changing. I fish around for the top of my head multiple times in a day because it completely blows my mind, you know. Looking super excited to be part of the Global Chamber. Thanks so much, Doug, for that, for the email exchange you and I had. Really appreciate you. And yeah, just excited to make connections, doing some amazing stuff inside of the AI. Like my hybrid is AI marketing. So how we bring the stuff together, and some of the applications that literally just knock me off of my chair, you know. Looking to make connections with people who are eager to leverage AI and what it is that they do. And I know everything about that. And I guess In My Life would probably be one of my favorite Beatles songs. That was always one of my favorites. I've never actually met a Beatle in real life, but my auntie was in a band in the 60s, my great auntie. And I've got a picture of her actually sat on John Lennon's knee. Let me show you. Uh, so this is my auntie sat on John Lennon's knee. Although I've never met any of them in person. I do drive past John Lennon's childhood home probably once a week when I'm going for a coffee with my friend. But yeah, that's about as close as I've got to meeting a Beatle, is driving past their house, you know. I'm just really excited to be here. Like I say, I'm not meant to be here till Jan, but I just I'm really excited to get started and meet you guys in person. So wanted to jump on. Excited
Yes.
to be here and learn from
Yes.
you all.
That's what happened. Fantastic. And a great song. So about every week you go past his home.
Yeah, on Menlove Avenue. So I have a friend that lives in Walton, which is literally just around the corner. So we pass Menlove Avenue every week. Yeah.
What do I do now?
Yes, if the total's correct.
Fantastic. Any questions for Colin, please? One of the
No, but I
questions
do remember his
Oh, go
talk on AI, and it was amazing. It was the first time I thought this may not be as horrible as I think. So I appreciate you, Colin.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita.
when you talked about people and individuals that you want to meet, is it really individuals? Is it people and companies? Is it executives? And where are the locations that they would be? And are there titles that we should be thinking about? Give us a little bit more granularity of folks that we might know that we might be able to introduce you to.
So the main focus really in the work that I do is mission first or vision first, like people that are looking to make an impact first, and then not profitability first, like people and impact first. That's critical to me. So I only work with people that are purpose driven and looking to be of service of others. That's why I name my community Thrive and Serve. You know, it's like people looking to thrive in impactful ways, make a difference in the world in meaningful ways in people's lives. So that covers quite a wide range, but that's the common thread. So I've worked with manufacturing business owners, I've worked with online entrepreneurs and coaches and everybody in between. But if when I ask them the why question, if they have a good answer, we're in, right? And that's really my prerequisite, is people looking to make a difference. Does that help?
What would be an example of that? Who has inspired you in 2023 that you started working with that fits that profile?
Oh, so I'm working with a founder of a non-profit right now, and she has a beautiful in-person animal therapy farm in Indianapolis. And she's also a therapist herself, and she's doing some amazing work that's just blowing me away, right? And literally, I say this to my clients, I don't do anything in this relationship. I literally just, I'm the mirror to help you shine brighter, you know? And in just guiding these people, they set the world alight. So she was a great example. She's literally helping people who've been through trauma to rise up and live their best life. That's a great example. And then similarly, I'm working with a very business focused coach that does B2B coaching inside of corporations. And his audience, his message is completely different, but he's still in it and doing it for the right reasons, you know, and it's that what they're in it for that I think is the most important for me, Doug. That was what resonated with you, with me, you know, it was like an instant connection. So I knew going to be, uh, I was going to be home by joining you guys in this group, you know?
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Purpose
Let me
driven
just bring up a
businesses
quick
and that.
point.
Sure, go ahead, Anita.
You know, so a lot of people work so that they can do the things that they want to do and the good and bring the good in the world. It's not necessarily what they do in their job, but their motivation is, wow, if I could do really well at this, then I can help my cat rescues. You know, I have like 200 philanthropies that I support, including a lot of animal rescues, and I'm useless to them unless I can make a good living so that when they send out the email saying, we've got an emergency, this cat needs emergency surgery, we need $500, I can literally wire them, you know, I can sell them the money. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to be altruistic, but get to the same point.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And it's not, I mean, that lady was somebody I've worked with over the last few months who was a striking example to me. But most of my clients are for profit. Only a handful are actually doing like non-profit charitable stuff like that. She's an exception. But I guess it's more about the purpose behind, you know. And I've worked with a seafood manufacturer doing 350 million euros a year, and that guy is no different. He's all business, 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 but he's in business for the reasons that you just highlighted there, Anita, so that the business allows him to go and support the things that are important to him as well. And that's where I'm a marketer and I tell people about having a focus and a niche, right? But I'm like, well, if they've got a purpose and a mission, I'll talk to anybody. I'll work with anybody in that sense.
That's fantastic. Love that. And there is a high percentage of global tribers who have that mission in life, not just in their business. Nihi Sanusi, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead. What question did you have?
Hi, Doug. Good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria. I just wanted to ask Colin about AI and his interest in AI and how he thinks it will affect the legal profession. I have a talk coming up sometime in January, so I just wanted to familiarize myself a bit with how AI will impact lawyers and judicial officers and what his own thoughts are about that.
So there's a misconception in the world about AI, right? Everybody looks at AI and thinks this is going to take my job. This is going to take away the work of like my work. And actually what it's going to do is the opposite of that. It's going to be the accelerant of the work. It will take away a lot of administrative stuff. It will take away a lot of encyclopedic stuff, you know, stuff where we need to know things and we need to understand. But when it comes to what AI is actually doing in practice, is it's becoming a springboard for people. So the legal profession can spend more time doing the work that matters, doing the work that's making that difference in the world, and spending time client facing, because a lot of administrative stuff is done by AI. That's how this thing is actually playing out. Initially, people have a fear response and it's like, oh no, this is going to steal my job. This is going to take this away. Everybody's going to be redundant and not be able to work. And actually, when we play with it and we put it into real settings, into real life settings, then the opposite is true. yes, we need to learn AI and we need to be able to use it to implement it in our businesses, whatever the context. But actually, that's a skill that we need to learn. It's like if we rewind the clock to when email first came out, and I remember the day when we would do everything by letter, right? We would actually write a letter to people and post it through the mailbox. And imagine when email came out, if we were all sat here going, "Oh no, email's going to take my job," it's only the same as that. It's like a progression in how we do business, how we conduct ourselves, and how we live out our lives. So I think it's when you view it in that way, you see the benefits and the way that this thing can supercharge what you're doing. In the legal profession specifically, there are a number of AIs already that act as expert advisors. So they can put case notes together, they can pick out things that a human may struggle to find or decipher, make connections inside of big, massive amounts of information, and some quite powerful things that we can put to work with the AI that we perhaps couldn't have done or would have taken a lot of man hours before, that can now be spent elsewhere. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. I'll have to connect with you so we can take it to the next level, because I
Of
still have
course.
questions on the ethical side, but when we have a discussion. Thank you very much.
Be a pleasure.
I was able to stop at the gas station in Quartzsite, the mobile station, as you can see behind me. They actually have a face page in Quartz. Thank you. Both informational and inspiring, Colin. And feel free to reach out to everybody here and vice versa. Make sure that you've got Colin in your connection list as well. I'd like to come back to Nihi. However, I'd like to go first to Yuka Nakasone in Barcelona. Yuka has some news to share. She is an expert in technology, but that also includes localization, translation work, and bringing it all together in terms of e-commerce. So for instance, one of my favorite projects that Yuka has done is helping Spanish wineries, rural wineries, be successful in selling their products in Japan. So those kinds of projects are just really amazing, Yuka, that you've been part of. You've been part of so many different things. You're also our executive director in Barcelona. What news do you have? What would you like to share here? Who would you like to meet in the coming weeks? And how else can we help? Thank you for your support and collaboration. We love you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Doug. I have to slow down because I can't breathe properly today. I caught cold. I was in bed, but I put myself out. And one of the success I experienced this year is taking on this executive director position at the Global Chamber Barcelona. And I came to the point that I could sign an agreement of collaboration as a strategic supporting partner for an International World Congress, which is next year. It's all about e-mobility. It's about electrification of transportation and decarbonization and all these things that is connected to our future of mobility. So as a strategic supporting partner, I signed. I have 100 tickets to give out. I'm thinking of giving mainly for the members of of course the Global Chamber, wherever they are. So if you know anybody who is connected to e-mobility, the new type of transportation, for example, electric vehicle, sustainable energy, green energy, urban transportation, whatever it is. And I'm I'm particularly passionate about this Congress because I'm leading two roundtables. One is about the urban planning, how we can decarbonize. I need the help. Decarbonize, decarbonizar, decarbonize the cities by implementing low emission zones, which is a zone where the cars can come in. Conventional cars can come in, but have to pay or have to get the permission to enter. So I'm inviting the city of London, I'm inviting the city of Barcelona, and I'm inviting a very innovative city of Romania to talk about this. And another roundtable is all about digitization, and it's connected to the city innovation as well. It's all about digital twins, about the cities and nations. So that's what I'm doing for February. And the news I'm going to release today or tomorrow is our strategic agreement with this e-mobility expo and World Congress with the Global Chamber of Barcelona to bring this into the international business scene. And another piece of news that I have today is I get paid this morning by the official association of the SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses here in Catalonia, which is called PIMEC, to implement AI solutions based on LLM for them, for the pilot program. So officially, I can say I'm working in AI. I'm implementing AI for real clients and real solution, which is intelligent multilingual chatbot. And I'm not stopping here. This is just phase one. And where I want to move on is to help SMBs to go global using AI. And I'm looking into the what I need for this is people who can deal with integration of business intelligence and other types of AI, like a large language model, because I'm kind of seeing that one type of AI cannot deal with everything. So that's what I'm doing. And what what Doug said about winery, I'm still doing this because this is a very interesting project. The rule of family-run business cannot be at the speed of digitization as big medium-sized corporations. So I'm slowly digitizing this family business, agricultural business, farmers to go online, e-commerce, and wherever they need to digitize. So it's not all about e-commerce. It's e-commerce was the first thing, and I'm going to slowly move into ERP solution and connect everything on back end, and to really take a small family rural business to a fully digitized business. So that's what I'm doing. Does it make sense? And thank you very much. And Beatles song, it's not about the Beatles, but related to Beatles. I love Imagine from John Lennon.
A great song, fantastic song. That's a great one. We need to keep moving. So I'd like to now go to Nihi Sanusi, and if you have questions, before Yuka or any of the other folks who've spoken before you, feel free during your time to ask those questions and use the chat area to introduce yourselves as well. Nihi Sanusi is an attorney. That was hence his question, Colin, about the issues related to artificial intelligence and the law. He's based in Lagos, Nigeria. In addition to knowing so many people all across Africa, he has really been a trusted resource for us because he's been a member for a number of years. He's helped us in a lot of different ways. And sometimes Nigeria gets a bad rap relative to unscrupulous folks. And certainly, just like every country, there are those folks there. He is not that. He's a trusted resource. He's smart, he's capable, he's knowledgeable, and he's been such a supportive and collaborative leader for us, including putting together Global Chamber Africa events, including an investment forum that we did a couple months ago that was one of the best I've ever been part of. So Nihi, thank you for your leadership. In addition to all that, he's also our advisory board chair for the Lagos, Nigeria chapter. Who would you like to meet, Nihi, and what would you like to share today?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Doug. I think you said it all. There's very little else I can say. But all I can add is that anyone who's interested in Africa and Nigeria for the short term to the long term, I'll be happy to have a discussion. One of the things that I'm also doing is to have a partnership, an alliance of sorts with law firms across the continent. So instead of someone like Jacob having to travel to Ghana, to Nigeria, Tunisia, Egypt, one law firm can handle if he has any inquiries, advisory needs, and so forth. We can just handle that straight up with all of the firms that are involved and in alliance with us. So that's one of the things we also bring to the table. If you have any inquiries now or in the future, we'll be happy to help sort them out. Take it from there. Thank you very much, Doug, once again. I appreciate the heads up.
Thank you, Nihi. Does anybody have any questions for Nihi, please?
I do actually. Hi, Nihi. So what type of law do you practice mostly? Like who are your typical clients?
Yeah, corporate clients. I can give an example, so maybe that'll put it in perspective. I have a client who during COVID they're an agricultural company. They were coming from Asia, Singapore to be specific, and they intended to open a number of network branches in West Africa, Nigeria being number one. So they did a few incorporations, including Nigeria, and we helped to service that. So we are keen on corporate clients. We have another company coming out of Europe. It's into electric, renewable power, renewable energy. They've put a hold on their intentions, but they're also the kind of clients we're looking out for. Once they have an interest in Nigeria, Africa, we are happy to help them out. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that question, Anita. Let's keep moving around the room. I don't have visibility of the screen because I'm driving and I've set my phone on the dashboard. So I wonder if we could next go to Brian Wood and learn more about Brian, and then just for the next one, just introduce yourself and go next. Brian, thank you for joining Global Chamber. Who would you like to meet? Tell us a little bit more if there's anything else that we can do to help.
Sure. And a longtime Global Chamber member since yesterday. So I'm excited to be here and in the mix. And I love hearing from each of you. The older I get, the more I align with people that want to do special things and serve. So the things that Colin and Anita and others have mentioned really resonated with me. My background is 30 years in the corporate space. I've got background as an MBA and WMBA player agent, certified coach, certified facilitator, and I'm really looking for one, to serve each of you. So the things that are most important to you, I want to be able to figure out what I can do to help. Also, long-term relationships with, again, those that are passionate about serving and humanity. My sweet spot is leadership development training with organizations, athletes, helping them navigate the now what chapter of their lives. How do they transition into the real world? High potential executives, nonprofit leaders, love speaking engagements and storytelling. And I look for excuses to travel internationally. I love travel, been to all 7 continents, and yeah, and any opportunity to go somewhere to drive positive change is kind of a thing for me. So that's me, and thank you.
Fantastic. Where are you located, and where do you find clients typically? Where are the best places for you to work with them?
So I'm in Mesa, Arizona, and usually I get referrals. So whether it's teaming up with people internationally, honestly, anywhere works for me. We're in such a place that we can do so much virtual work, and then also hopping on a plane is kind of a thing for me. So honestly, Doug, globally is all good. It's really no limits.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. What's your favorite Beatles song? And I don't think we got that from Nihi, so we'll have to get that from you too, Nihi.
So,
what's your favorite Beatles song or any Beatles story?
Yuka stole my strategy. I was going to go with Imagine, so we'll go with Yesterday.
Fantastic.
I love that too as
Nihi,
well.
what's your favorite Beatles song? I forgot to ask.
Well, the fact is that I hear the Beatles in passing, so I'm not really so sure about their songs, but I do hear them and I'm quite familiar with them. But I think they were born, I mean, I was born maybe just about the time they were doing their thing, but as I said, I'm not so familiar, so I'll have to rest it there. And I'll go with yours, John Doug.
Okay, well then your assignment over the holidays is to learn more about the Beatles and in 2024 definitely develop a favorite song. There's so many amazing songs. And one of my favorite programs, and I try to channel this, I'm not very good at it yet, is there's a Beatles channel on Sirius Radio, and they do a question and answer about the Beatles, and the people that do the question and answer, the experts, are like, they know anything and everything about the Beatles, every single song and how they've been put out, and they open up the lines and people ask very detailed questions, and their approach to how they ask the questions and how they keep things so calm and mindful. I don't know if any of you have watched or listened to that. It's not watched, it's listened to that program. It's really amazing if you're a Beatles fan. So definitely learn a little bit more about it. Any questions for Brian or any additional questions for Brian, please? And hearing none, then let's just open up. Who else is left? Please go ahead. I know I saw Jacob there.
Yeah, I saw Santosh, but I think he might have fallen off, and so I can step in. I'm gonna try to pull my best Anita and give my 30-second elevator pitch. And so I'm Jacob Dietz. My company is Kalimo Collective, and I specialize in consultancy and coaching with a unique twist, blending innovative strategies with grassroots insights. Our focus is sustainable development and social entrepreneurship, whether it's crafting strategic plans, implementing impactful programs, or empowering young leaders. My approach is always personalized and culturally sensitive. I'm not just about making a difference, it's about making it the right way, with integrity and a global yet local perspective. So the type of client that I typically look for, it's like I feel like Colin and I are in a lot of ways cut from the same cloth. It's someone who values ethical practices. Not that anybody else is not looking for people that value ethical practices, but ethical practices, innovative solutions, and are eager to make a real impact in their community or sector. And something, so I just had a conversation with my first official client. I don't know why I did quotes, but Ariel Michaeli and SRND, and we were talking about sort of the theme with AI, because I just that Yuko, thank you again for being there yesterday. But I did my first Globinar AI driven building of ecosystem building. And so what I think, where the role that I can play with AI is not really on the technical side, but is sort of acting like that bridge and working with C-suites that are interested in adopting some different ways to use AI, and sort of on the ideation side, and being that bridge between C-suites and engineers. I feel like my communication style, my ability to relate to a lot of different types of personalities and people, I feel like I can communicate in a way that effectively tells the story, and paints the vision to really, push the limits on innovation. And in terms of the Beatles, I grew up, oldies, I guess, the '90s music or oldies, but I used to listen to the Beatles all the time. And I remembered, one of my favorite albums, and I'll go with the albums. Favorite song, like one of the favorite songs is "We Can Work It Out." I love that song and the message. But favorite album is Rubber Soul. I just remember listening to that as a kid, over and over. And then it's like, the lyrics and the music, you really it had I feel like it had a more powerful impact. There's some powerful stories in that album. And so, but I love music, love the Beatles. We all got my parents, when the one album came out, they gave us all copies of the CD. Yeah, Brian, I think, I've heard some on like the oldies radio station that Nirvana and Pearl Jam, it's the times they are changing. But yeah, no, Colin, for example, man, I would love to have a conversation and learn more about your work. I think, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of the ways that we're looking at things, and the type of people that we're looking at, and also some people that I could possibly introduce you to that could add more value to your work. And so, yeah, just really looking forward to the new year. Have some projects, really interesting projects, including projects that is going to be creating a network of regenerative ranches, starting here in the United States, and then expanding out. We're looking at Panama and South Africa. But yeah, I'm pretty multifaceted. Like to do a lot, like to learn, and just help people with their visions, and enjoy the process. Yeah, that's it.
Who would you like to meet?
Oh, I feel like I'd like to meet Brian. I'd like to learn more about Brian. I'd like to meet Colin. I
Awesome.
feel like in terms of people, I feel like I have some really good projects that are in a good state right now. But I think, I usually I'm a go-getter. If I see a business or an organization, or an entrepreneur that is doing something unique and innovative, I just reach out and start the conversation. So I have a couple of those conversations happening right now, and so yeah, I really, I'd like to meet other members and just learn. But in terms of possible clients, if I have to paint just someone that's looking to, either start to implement more AI strategies, ideas, but also, coaching with leadership, team development, leadership style, and strategy and vision. Yeah, a lot.
Thanks for sharing. Any questions for Jacob, please? And hearing none, I think that brings us I think that's it for the room, right? And it's because Santosh left, but is there anything else that anybody else has to wrap up? Anybody have any comments based on what other folks said? And by the way, my favorite Beatles song, so many of them, and on the Beatles channel, they actually count down the top 100 Beatles songs, and most of them are pretty amazing, you know, in terms of what they do. But I would say, thinking about 2024, my favorite Beatles song is Revolution, because I love the screaming at the beginning. I love the frustration that we get on a daily basis with kind of the world the way it is, but then ease into action, ease into things that we can implement realistically, but also aggressively. Because the world does need to change. We do need to make progress. We can't make it all at once, unfortunately. That's the scream at the beginning of that song. But we can make change through the village of people who want to make the change or not happy with the way things are, want to make progress and help people live better lives going forward in the future. Does anybody else have any comments before we close the room?
I'd just like to say thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. And like you mentioned, Brian, Jacob, everybody else, I would love to connect with you guys individually. I'm on my Christmas break right now. I'm going to go back down to a glass of sherry after this. It's 5 p.m. in the UK almost. But in the new year, I would be delighted to hop on and have a virtual coffee with you guys to learn more about what you're doing. Would love that. Excited to be involved. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, we don't have your detail. I don't have your details, Colin. Maybe you share that with us.
Yeah, and I'll just say happy holidays and happy new year. Everyone be safe and enjoy the time with your loved ones. And Doug, thank you for everything that you do, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in 2024.
You get any final words? And by the way, where were you in 1989? That's when we were moving to Japan and we were staying at the Okra and saw Paul McCartney. And the next year, I actually met Michael Jackson at Narita Airport. Were you living in Japan in those days?
1989, I was in Japan, I believe, but I believe because I entered in the university in 1986. So I was, I guess.
Okay, very cool.
And just after that, I went to Madrid. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, I wish I knew you in those days, but I'm glad you're around and all of us can benefit from knowing you.
No,
Thanks everybody for taking the time today. Have a great, oh, please go ahead.
No, thank you, Doug, for all the things you do. Without you, we are lost. And thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate you too. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Get well soon, Yuka, and everybody have a great holiday. Stay away from whatever's going around. There's a lot of bugs in the air.
Yeah.
Mask up
Happy
in public
holidays.
places.
Holidays.
Right.
Yeah.